Now where did I put Welcome back to Dallas County Iron. This will be the last installment of the welding, the body work. I did get most of it completed, and unfortunately, a lot of the video that I did show or did shoot for getting the frame pulled down and everything mysteriously disappeared or did not transfer from my phone to my laptop, so we don't have any of that. But you'll get to see some of the sketchy stuff that I had set up over here. I had tires underneath the trunk and underneath the front passenger compartment to hold it up, and then I put jack stands to keep it from rocking back and forth, and that made it pretty sturdy. Since then I've separated them a lot more so I can pull the frame out, which I don't have video of yet because it hasn't been moved. So you'll get to see what I'm doing, the things that I did, things I had to make, I think, to make it all work. And this is what the video is going to be. This should be the last one. I know it's not very popular with the viewers, also probably because it's been a couple weeks between videos. So if you're still interested in it, I mean, I'm happy. If you want to see something else, let me know. Put it down in the comments. If you want to see, unfortunately, I did not video any of lifting the body off of the frame far enough for me to get the frame out. But if you're still interested in seeing the welding part, let me know. It appears it is not as popular as I was hoping it would be, but that's part of the game here. So, yeah, just let me know. We'll just keep doing what we're doing here, and we'll show the videos you want to see. It's raining out right now, so I can't actually move the frame without sinking in the mud. So I'm going to leave it here for now. Upcoming videos, there may be different things going on. So we will start off from where I left off in the last video, and we should get through everything. I did something you won't see, unfortunately, because that video disappeared. I did pull the windshield wiper off and kind of looked at all that. I also pulled the fan motor apart that's supposed to go for the defroster. There's a blower motor for the defroster and a blower motor for the heat, from what I can understand of what I've got here. And I did tear one of the motors apart, but unfortunately I can't get it put back together. Fortunately, I do know that I can order different new motors for them, so I believe I'll go that way, unless someone knows a trick on how to put a blower motor back together. There's like this little spring thing that holds the brass ball at the end in, and I can't get it pushed back in there. I know how. I mean, I got the spring replaced for the brushes, and that all works, but as far as getting it put back together to test it, can't. Sorry about the shadow. But we will continue on with what we're doing, and you'll get to see the rest of the welding. Let me switch this now. I'll just turn it. I got the bolts replaced, and I do have a video, or part of the video does show that. So anyway, let's get started with the video, and I hope you enjoy it. I know 7 people watched the last one. It's just the way things go. Again, this is not going to be the fast, speedy ones that we were, or that are all over YouTube right now. But if you're interested in watching this thing get more tore apart and then put back together, keep watching. We might learn stuff together. So anyway, on with the video. Okay, I've got the radiator support out. Obviously gonna have to do a little bit of repair work over here. Because, you know, driver's side, it never takes any abuse. But we're getting closer. Also, look at the bolts on that thing. It's gonna start out the conversation with, man, that thing's got some nuts. So we'll finish the conversation like that. But, yeah. They were seriously supporting something. Anyhow, so we got that taken out. Now for the heavy duty stuff. You can't see it, but I think I got to take the steering shaft out, which means I got a lot more work to do before I get there. So get that door opened up again, figure out why that latch isn't working, and then we'll get dismantling the rest of the stuff on the inside of the cab here and go from there. And then we'll take the motor mount bolts off, and then I gotta decide how I'm going to precariously balance this on maybe 4 tires so I can do the body work. But that's going to be another video, maybe. So we'll get this finished up. Okay, so I have updates. Yes, it got cold out, so I'm using my turbo heater. So it's going to be a little loud in here again. I've got all the body mounts removed. All the bolts cut loose. Had to get my handy dandy grinder out. There it is. Cut that piece off. It's laying down here somewhere. Parts of it is. And had to do the same on the other side. That's showing me some things. I've got the service panel out. So now I just got to figure out how to support this body so it doesn't kill me when I lower it. But I also got steering wheel taken apart just in case I got to take that steering shaft out. But I think, well, thinking isn't really one of my strong points, but I think if I have to, that'll all slide out without too much more intervention by me if I need to pull this frame out. We're going to attempt to drop the frame, and somewhere down the line I want to try to drag it out and maybe power wash it off and get it painted up. But currently I'm just trying to figure out how to rebuild all that. Fortunately, that side's not rotted to oblivion like this one is. I guess I should cut that out one of these days too. But that's where we're at. I know you guys like to see all the work I'm doing. Unfortunately, I keep forgetting to get my phone out. I don't really have a whole lot of room to take videos of all this. Maybe I'll figure out how to do that, but I'm going to clean out the floor of all the tools I have and pieces and parts so I don't have that adding extra weight. My plan is stack tires underneath this because I don't have just don't have a lot of stuff, and hopefully that'll hold it steady enough for me to do some welding and cleaning and things. But yeah, I was in here. That piece was over here. I decided to leave. By the looks of it, might have been that way. I don't know. It was in there somehow. But that's pretty much where we're at right now. Here you go. That's cool enough now for me to touch. Basically, I ground the head of the bolt off because that is a washer and a bolt, but it was rusted so much. I had to cut the washer in half to relieve some pressure. And then I just took a hammer and drove the bolt out. Like I said, it's on the floor here somewhere. I'll get that all swept up. I've got some other things that are like a clip I took off the transmission. I want to find it. I kind of like to keep that, but I know I've got a way around it if I have to. But yeah, that's where we're at for now. And get some of this stuff cleaned out, and maybe I'll videotape me trying to threaten my own life by stacking tires underneath this and then lowering the frame of the car down. Then we'll get back to making pieces and parts and maybe even get some welding done. I do know a lot of these places like this, there's 2 layers of steel here. As you can tell, it's rotted off down there. And then that's collapsed. So I'm going to have to rebuild that. But it's all going to take some time and some thinking, and even measured how far down that was to the piece from the body mount to the bottom of the washer. Came up with that. And over here, that was actually, I want to say half an inch, and I decided to take sheet metal into account. Came up with 3/8, and I've got a measurement back there, I think. If I don't, I should have. But that's going to tell me just how much of a spacer I need. Oh, let me go over to the other side and I'll show you kind of what I think they did. Hold on. You'll have to pardon the collection of junk I got over here. Like I said, I need to clean everything up and organize it and put it back where it belongs. But you can see this piece here, that piece there. I think it's still attached to something. Yep, there goes everything over on that side. You can see it's more of the carnage I had to do. Alright, this piece was, looks like it's kind of pressed out. We're laying on underneath the washer here. And then this piece, I have to investigate that one. Almost looks like they welded they pressed this out, pressed and flared that out, and welded it together. And as you can tell, that goes underneath that piece of metal, right about there. I wonder if I can get that pulled out now. And probably after I cut a few more things out. Oh, it actually got itself wedged underneath that plate. But that's going to give me a shape to kind of go by to make this bottom piece. And then I can make the top piece based off of what I see over there. And over here, I'm going to do the same thing. Check out the other side and try to mimic that. But as you can tell, maybe you can't. Oh yeah, you you see the light. So that's kind of a rounded edge, and it looks like they welded it to the bottom of the frame, or the body here. So that's just a stiffener. And that has to go clear back into this, and I'll get that piece built, hopefully. Look somewhat like what it's supposed to. And then I've been trying to decide whether I just want to use my flat stock over here and make new floor, or thinking I might be able to. But again, that's a little farther down the road. But once you take that inspection cover off, and granted some of the bolts decided to stay where they were, kind of see, you can get to everything. So that's going to make it easier if I want to, after I put everything back up, work on the brakes and everything. But like I said, my goal is to pull all this out, frame out eventually, get it cleaned up, and by the looks of things, I don't know if you can see that. Probably can't. I can feel it go plump. So that means probably need to put mold joints in. But I kind of think I need to investigate all of this and make sure it's in good shape. That, or it could just be the kingpins are bad. I don't know what this is. I know they've got a kingpin repair kit for it. That's probably what it is. And, you know, I've never dealt with a kingpin before. So that ought to be fun. Plus I gotta chop all this grime and stuff off here. They definitely oiled her up. You can see it's all blowed out everywhere. This was covered in motor oil or whatever. Looked like tar, just like the side of the motor did. Pardon my finger. And of course this is just dirt, rust. You know, basically neglected car sitting in a field for however long it sat. But we're gonna work on it. There's some more of the oil that come out of the motor. And then I gotta repair those spots. A little bit of daylight shining there. A couple of pinholes there. Maybe a bigger pinhole there. Yeah, because there's no rust in this car. So I'm going to start welding the body mounts in, the top plates that I just made. That way I can line them up with the body mounts that are, or the rubber mounts that are underneath. Kind of, you know, line things up so I weld the bottom plates in. They'll be lined up with the holes. But we're having a little issue. Let me show you what's going on. As you can tell, I'm still welding through the steel, and I've got my ultra expensive high dollar baby TPS welder set at the lowest settings, and we're only plugged into 120 right now. I don't think this one will do 240. So that's where we're at. So I'm going to fight with this for a while. I don't know if I can set you up on the tripod or on the stand to watch, but sorry, shining right at the light. But we'll see what we can do. It's kind of a bad area, but you can see what I'm trying to do here, maybe. Let me move this light a minute. So I've got that pretty much over where the body mount will come through. So if I get that lined up, then everything else should be in place. I can see it better here for some reason. Oh, the camera's way over there. Oh, that's why. So anyway, that's lined up pretty good. If I can just get I get that first tack weld, this one over here, that one will hit, but the rest of these, I think the metal's pretty thin right there. And of course, after I beat on it, everything got thinner. But we're gonna give it a shot, see what we can make happen out of this. So let me get you put on the stand and let's see what we can do. And yeah, I painted the top of this one. I should have painted the bottom, so yeah, we'll make it work. I think I've got it butchered in about as good as I can get it. I mean, that's going to hold, hopefully. I'll hit it with a hammer real quick and see if that makes anything jump around. But I might hit a few more spot welds to make it a little bit more secure. But that's what I got. That's what I'm working with. And like I said, they covered up their mistakes with tar. So I think I'm gonna do the same thing. Probably scrape all this stuff down eventually and get it all painted up before I cover it up. At least it'll give it some kind of resistance to moisture. I think I'll throw a few more tack welds on that. See if we can't make it a little more permanent, a little more secure. And then, this is my problem. The frame's already starting to do something. I really don't want to weld over that. So I made support, before I do those, I may support the trunk, drop the frame down a little bit, cut that chunk of rust out. This side is not so much of a concern because it's almost deleted now anyway. So I'll get the top plates put on here. Like I said, I've been painting the bottom sides of them so they'll at least have some kind of rust protection on them. Like I said, I made a mistake and painted the top side of that one. But this one over here holding my light up, painted him black. Might have to give him a little touch up, but I mean, it's just some cheapy ass Rust-Oleum stuff. At least it's paint. No cover. I'll get that again. Put this guy over here. Get him lined up to where he's supposed to be. And then tack weld him in. As you can tell, I've already got a couple of marks. Well, you can't when I'm doing that. Got a couple of marks here. So I've got it kind of centered up so I can do something when I get the tops and bottom tack welded in, and then I'll beat the other parts down to submission. Because you can tell I kind of missed the angle. But I can force that into place. And we'll get that done. Cross our fingers and hope I did a good thing. I'm hoping that the two plates together is going to give it enough strength. I know, they did a support thing underneath it. That's kind of what they've been doing all the way through the body. They put a bottom plate in, and where they needed spacing, they put a little, or they pressed a kind of a sleeve in there. I'm going to have to find some steel and weld a sleeve in there. But I think I can get that done. Looks a little bit better. I think that'll hold for what I needed to do. Gonna clean up these welds a little bit, grind them off to make it look a little bit better. But I think that's gonna do for that, and I'll continue welding and cleaning up after myself when the rest of it's done. And I just dropped my welding helmet again on myself. Yay! You know, I've got this funny hat on so that nothing wants to stay put. Yay. Anyhow, we'll keep doing stuff until something tells us we're doing it wrong. Alright, so I'll go with the ones we can see right away. I mean, tack welded in, and like I showed you, it's probably closer than what they were doing. Yes, there's a gap there. Probably gonna have to just drop a couple of pieces in there. Nothing I can do, that's the way it pressed out. But it's stronger than what was there before, at least by one layer of metal. And as you can see, I got them fairly centered. Mind the finger. You can see that one very well, but actually that's a chunk of dirt that or tar, whatever the hell it is. And that one. So now I've got a pattern to go by. Throw a few more tack welds around here maybe. Give it a little more strength. Put a few more over here. But that is where we're at. There you have it. Semi-complete project. I think those welds will hold just fine. Maybe not that one, but if it's a problem, we'll come back at it. I'll spend another hole. Imagine that. Just a few little, oh, that's not nothing. That's a chunk of metal. Just a few little holes. Not concerned about those. These guys, like I said, they're the ones. So I bent that over and welded it in, sanded her down. I mean, it ain't pretty, but like I said, that's how they covered up their stuff. So might as well go with the flow on this one. And there we have it. Trunk area is almost complete. They just got to put the bottom pieces on and they're painted. I might throw some paint on all this stuff, but I think my next effort's going to be cleaning out the trunk, but I got to figure out where to put this junk. Well, I got the junk in the trunk out. Found some cool little things in here. Yeah, I know, I still haven't welded that. It's only been half an hour. But see that little hole there? I don't think there's anything rusted through yet, but I haven't got down that far. And then you see this mat of tar in the corner. That's what I cleaned out of the other side. I had to get the vacuum out and suck up the rest of this fine dust. But for the most part, like I said, this half of the trunk is finished. I just gotta get the bottom half for the motor, or the body mounts. And then we can move on up to the front where everything along the side of the car is pretty much toast, and everything in the front of the car is pretty much toast. So we'll get that done. Okay, apparently I paused my phone, but here's some of that cardboard. Go right back here. Goes on the back side. If anyone knows where that stuff is at, put it down in the comments. And maybe, just maybe, I can do some of this interior work while we're got everything tore apart and disgusting. If anyone knows how to tuck fabric in there, let me know. Hopefully I'll find a screwdriver and see if I can pry it out a little bit. Looks like they got a lot of it wedged in there. I'm hoping it just flops open. Then again, as young as it is, you know, fresh off the factory floor, I'm sure that's going to break and disintegrate. Only if I'm lucky. I do have a heat gun. I can try to soften the blow a little bit. But we'll give that a shot. See what we can do. I did notice that, where was it? One of these places, I cleaned it up really nice. And it's telling me, I know one of the viewers, or one of my viewers said something about it being San Gabriel green. This is too bright for that. I do have a color code, and this is more like the Miami green. Looks blue, but it's actually kind of a greenish tint. I don't know if that helps any enough, but anyway, probably going to be looking for that color of paint, which I know doesn't exist anymore, but maybe I can take a scraping or something, take a panel in, see if they can get it close, see what we can do. Alright, that's enough of that for now. About to get into removing the rear bumper. Actually, I've started it. As you can tell, that rusted off, or fell off when I was trying to get the bolt out. That one came out easy. That one, the bolt snapped. I have no idea how to, well, I do have an idea, but I don't know if I want to do it that way. But we'll figure that out. And of course, that one rusted off too, or was rusted off. So, oh, and this guy, his little shiny cap came off. And you think I can get on that with a vice grip to hold on to it and take the nut off? I mean, no. So, the reason why I'm taking the bumper off is because that brown colored piece of metal right there, sure there's a fancy name for it, like a valance or something? Don't know. Not a body guy. But he's held into place by a bolt there. I've got a U-shaped slot that'll slide in and out. And similar over there, and one here that does not have the little cutout in the bottom. So, we're going to play with my plasma cutter that I bought a long time ago, probably last summer, because I wanted one, and it was cheap. And I've seen some reviews on it that they're actually pretty good. Do I know what the hell I'm doing with it? No. Do I have the directions for it? Maybe. Do I know how to look stuff up online? Oh yeah, I can do that. So anyway, we're going to hook that guy up, and you've heard the saying, it can't be stuck if it's liquid. We're going to do that. So let me get that set up. Right after I finish cleaning out this corner here with this big old glob of goo, and plug in my dying light, which shows almost nothing. Yeah, there's a big slab just like the other one I took off on the other side. Yeah. And of course, you know, the sound deadening, which is just more tar slapped up somewhere. Like that. So we will continue chiseling this out, then probably this afternoon I'll get that hooked up, do a little researching on it, see what I need to do to make it actually work, and you can watch me blast that stuff off. Yes, I have a few holes. Like I said, I'm more worried about getting the body mounts done first, and then we'll take care of the other ventilation that I have found by scraping tar off of things. I don't know if there was a hole up there or not, but that's where we're at now. Yeah, I know you guys enjoy watching us work, but there's only so much gratuitous tar scraping I feel you need to watch. But this is amazing. Those are never intact. That has a dent in it, you can tell from where he was lifting the car or pushing it with his bobcat with forks on it. but it did the thing. It got it where we needed it. There is a little booger down here on the bumper. Hopefully, yeah, there you go. A little pulled out. Almost looks like somebody hit it with a bumper or got a bumper jack on it and it rolled away. That never happens with those. Surefire. Oh, you can't see it. That guy. I've never smashed a finger against the front of the car and had to pull that bar back so I get my hand out. So yeah, those are the bestest bumper jacks in the world. None. That's why I have rolling floor jacks wherever I go. So there we are. I'm going to scrape more of that tar out, and then we'll hook up the Best Arc 500 liquid maker plasma cutter thing, and we'll make liquid. And then we'll get that bumper off, and then I won't have to worry about bending that flashing valence, whatever we call it. And oh, fun fact, those 3 bolts are the only thing holding it up besides a couple of rubber bushings just laid on the frame in between the body of the car and the frame. Nice. We'll see how well they hold up when I put everything back in and change the elevation by a 1/4 inch or so. But other than that, that's what we got. Alright, back later with more. So in my excavational expertise, we've found, of course, well, you can't see that one. Where did he go? There it is. Can't really see it real well. There you go. Yeah, I found another hole. I think I punched a hole in with my wood chisel. But we found another one back here. I wonder what that leads to. The underneath. Anyway, so we got that done. The other side, I don't even remember looking at it. Let me get my Super Sex flashlight over here. Oop, fingers. That one looks like it's at least the floor part of it. I haven't dug into that corner yet. Obviously that is the way that it is because of that. It's very evident now. Look at that. So, I'm actually going to try to make that piece. Emphasis on try. Okay, so I tried my little nutcracker thing on there, and sorry, it decided it's too long. It's never happened before. Anyway, so back to reality. We're gonna try my little toy. So let me get that fired up and see what we can do. Well, it appears I have used it before because it's got little archy things on it. So it's been that long I forgot I used it. I don't even know what I used it on. But I used it on something. Probably something for my son. But I also realized that I needed to put air to it. So now we have air. And what is this? Some kind of an air adjuster. Back at it. Okay, so let's get down here and see what kind of what I can do. I'll bring you in when I get you set up. Okay, got it all fired up, tested, it's working. Okay, attempt number a lot more. Let's see what we can do here now. Yeah, I had the power setting way too high. So let's try that again so I don't trip the breaker. We're making progress now. I don't know if you can see by the photograph or the picture. I got the top kind of burned off. Then I'll go to the bottom side and then I hit it with a hammer. Figure out what hung up on this one to be out. There we go. Done. So, I have updates. Hopefully, everything I did before is recorded somewhere. That part's still attached because the body's still sitting on the frame. As soon as I drop the frame, that's gonna fall, or just fall the frame down. Hopefully the last one. But we are that much closer to setting this thing on the ground so I can reach the stuff underneath up front there that I got to get to, and stuff down here I got to get to. And yes, I saw that before too. Let me explain. It is welded down. I looked at that yesterday or earlier this morning, whatever time of year it is, and said I didn't weld the bottom of that. Well, apparently I need to drop some more spot welds around it, but I was mistaken. That goes underneath. Yeah, you get the idea of what I'm doing here, so I'll bring you in when I'm finished. Okay, so here we are. I've drilled my spot weld holes. Hopefully they're not too big. So I can spot weld this to that frame underneath, and as you can see, right above the other hole that the bolt goes through for the body mount. Probably can't see it, but it's in there. I've had to push the frame a couple of times so it's no longer in line. But that bracket will mount directly to that bolt hole down there. So everything's ready to go. Let me get you set up and we'll start welding in spot welds. Again, we'll see how this works. I have my welder set on the lightest setting since this is such thin metal. And it likes to blow holes in things, so we'll see what we can do. And that, my friends, is how you weld and then hide your terrible booger welds. You grind them off. I'm gonna probably put a bunch more welds in here, but I think you get the idea. This hole right here might be a problem. Might have to ream that out. I thought it would be in place, but apparently things moved on me. But that's an easy fix. Once I get the rest of this tacked in a lot better, You can tell where they spot welded it. I didn't see that while I was welding. So, anyway. Only one more to do. Yay! Well, that's the major body work done. Still got to do a little bit. I got to clean all the crap out of my back seat because I got a little bit, but still got this guy to take care of. Oh yeah, right down there. Yeah, and of course right there. And right there. And other little holes and things. I mean, we still got the one under the dash, or two. I noticed I've got another one. I think I showed that one to you already. And then over here, I don't know if I can reach it from this side of the car, but right ahead of that bump, you can probably see it right there. Got a crack starting. So I've got some more patching to do. Got something right down here too. So I'm gonna have to put a piece here, a piece there. And mind the hands. A couple pieces up there. And you know, I got pieces and parts gotta go everywhere. Then I got the hole back here to do. There's a hole over there. A couple of rust spots in the bottom of the fenders over there. But the major stuff is done. Oh, and you know, the rockers. You know, what about the back door back? They're pretty flimsy, but we are definitely making some progresses. Alright, so I was down here deciding to figure out how to get these bolts off, and it presented itself. You can see there's one bolt and nut still there. That one's gone. These two are gone, and you can tell that there's those pieces of metal there that hold the bolt into place. It's a square, or the nut. It's a square nut. And just knock those pieces out of the way, and lo and behold, everything just fell out. So, what I did do is I went to my local hardware store and bought some square bolts. Believe it or not, they still sell them. And I want to attempt to replace those. Hopefully they're not too thick. Here, I'll show you one of the bolts. And it's a lot thinner than what I bought. So, let me roll around here and I'll dig out what I've got. Also went and got myself some more map gas so I can heat things up. Alright. There's the bolts. Let's see if I can get one out. Come on. Oh, you know what? They're about the same size. The difference of this one is a little round on the top. But thinking it might be a little thicker. But I think I can get those pieces of metal hammered back around there. I also got bolts and washers to go with them. So we'll see what we can do. I'm actually pretty excited that that's the way that is. I was down here with a pair of vice grips and they weren't doing nothing. But I got to looking and it's like, wait a minute. Those have got them little nut lock things on them. Let's hammer those out a minute. So pretty excited to find that out. Sorry. My glasses slid and I couldn't see what I was saying and you couldn't either. But there we are. I'm very excited about that because that just saved me hours of trying to tap it out, drill it out, and all I got to do is replace it. So I'll get my little grinding wheel out here and knock some of the crap off of it. Maybe get that can of rust transformer that I have. I've got a spray can up and take care of that. So, exciting news. Yay! Alright. I'll let you know. I'll show you when I got it done. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I actually cut one piece about 7 inches long and about 2 inches wide. And it cut off the top part that fit there perfectly, and now I'm trying to fit this piece in here, which for the most part follows the contours. I have to do a little massaging here and there, but now I'm going to stitch weld, which is this stuff right here, which apparently I need to do a couple more stitches. But basically you put a bunch of spot welds next to each other and that will actually make a great connection for the floor. It didn't work so well over here because most of that's rotten. So that piece is flopping in the breeze. Might be something I have to, when I finally get the frame rolled out of here, I can go underneath here and touch up all those places. But this piece, I'm going to stitch weld right across this line here. Then we'll put it back in and see what other kind of massaging I need to do to make that fit nice. But basically I took my hammer, as you can tell, and made myself a crease. Instead of just doing a single line, I kind of did a wide arc. I suppose that's about 1/2 to 3/4 inches wide, not sure. Didn't really calculate it, just kind of guessed. Then I used tap screws to put that plate in there, measured where the kick down is, cut it. Did a little extra massaging to get the right curve. So once it was screwed in, I hammered it at it some more and stretched the metal out a little bit more. But kind of looking good now. I'm going to cut, probably trim this piece out a little more so it fits for where the inspection plate's supposed to go. I didn't do a very good job here, I did a better job over here. And again, that was me taking the round end of my hammer, and on the back side I hammered it on here, and then I flipped it over and hammered it right there. And that gave me the kick I needed. Well, this started out being an easy couple of pieces. Turns out I'm going to have to make one great big piece. Noticed a bunch of holes popping up after I ground it off. Of course, I blasted that one with the welder and it just ate away everything. So we're going to replace that shiny little piece there with this big little piece. Go and put some self-tappers in the top and kind of beat the thing around. See if I can make it fit where I want it to. And we will go from there. I've got the piece made. It's not perfect, but I'm pretty certain I can get things welded in where I need to. And again, this is going to be the stitch welding, a lot like this over here, just a little more solid. So I'll get busy with that and I'll show you what I got when I get done. Well, it's in. Well, it ain't pretty. Matter of fact, it looked like garbage, but it ain't gonna go anywhere. And the rest of the holes I got, I'll just fill up with the seam sealer or something. I'm not happy with it, but with what I got, I'm happy with that. So, that one is now complete. A little less excited about the fact I had to use a full sheet, or a big, it's a 7x7 piece that got folded and manipulated and influenced with hammers and stuff, but we got her in. That's going to be a win in this column right now. So on to other wonderful things like more holes. Yay! So anyway, I'm happy that's no longer Swiss cheese. Well, not as much Swiss cheese. Organized Swiss cheese. But we got it completed and I'm happy. Alright, that'll wrap up this video. Again, I've got other things going on. And we just started working a lot more, so videos are not going to be every week, unfortunately. Also, I'm at a point where I've got to buy pieces and parts as I can per paycheck, so things are going to be real slow, unfortunately. If you want to watch more welding, I've got more of that I can do, some things I need to patch up and get the bottom side welded in better. But that's kind of where we're at right now. I'll get out a video as soon as I can. It might be me taking care of some maintenance around here, like I've got to replace a couple of fuel lines on my purple motorcycle here. And there's other things that I have laying around I can work on until I get all the parts lined up for, you know, doing brakes and maybe buying engine parts and things like that. But right now that's kind of where we're at. And I'll get out a video as quickly as I can after that. Again, I appreciate everything. You know, I appreciate you guys' comments. Like, share, subscribe. You know, if you know someone who's got a vehicle that they just started with and they're, you know, kind of, do I really want to dig into this? Just, you know, have them watch what I'm doing. Honestly, I've had a lot of those moments. I mean, this is a big project, and I mean, every little piece of progress that I get helps me keep moving on it. So, you know, just have them watch, and if they kind of get a good idea of what they need to do, and I mean, these things take time. And like, this would have been a cool one to get revival type video going, but the motor was so stuck. Yeah, that was a fight. But anyhow, this is where we're at. Like I said, I'm gonna try to get a video out as often as I can. Like, I've got little projects I can do, like that generator I bought. I mean, I've got a old snow blower that I haven't used in years, and it's like, well, maybe we'll just mess with that. The motorcycle, I've got some kind of motorized scooter thing that's been laying here for years. I don't even know where it came from. I think that was one of my son's projects, but I might tear into that and see if I can get it working. And if I do, we'll take videos of that too. So again, thank you guys for watching, and I'm going to keep trying and keep videos coming as much as I can, and we'll see this through to the end, and then hopefully I'll find another one. And hopefully the next one I use or get, I will, yes, this is up a lot higher. I did some things, so I can, I'll take a video of what it's looking like now, and then we'll go from there. So, again, like I said, I appreciate everything. Leave comments. You guys got ideas? I'm open to everything. I've never been one of those people that think that I know everything, because I don't. And I do like hearing people's other ideas, and as often as I can, I'll try to use them. So we will see you guys later, and thank you again for watching.